So welcome back, students. So here I am with again the next portion of landscape of the soul. So today we are going to discuss about what is European painting. So to tell about European painting, the author is also telling us a story about that. So this story is all about a blacksmith called Quentin Matsis, and through that particular story the author is telling us how realism is how European painting is based on realism. In 15th century Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Quentin Matsis fell in love with a painter's daughter. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. So the story is from 15th century Antwerp, and the central character of this story is Quentin Matsis. Professionally, he was a blacksmith. There was a Comar asile 15th century Antwerp. Naam Quentin Matsis. So eventually he fall in love with a painter's daughter. Ejon Hilpi ejon swari logot teo premor সম্পৰ্ক হৈছিল, and obviously he wanted to marry his beloved. But unfortunately, his beloved's father, who is a painter, he did not want to accept Quentin as his son-in-law because of his profession. There was a Hilpi, আৰু সি হৈছে এজন কমাৰ, গতিকে এজন শিল্পীয়ে কেতিয়াও নিবিচাৰিব যে তেওঁৰ ছোৱালীজনী এজন কমাৰলৈ বিয়া হওক। সেইকাৰণে তেওঁলোকৰ সম্পৰ্কত এটা সমস্যা আহিছিল। So Quentin sneaked into the painter's studio and painted a fly on his latest panel with such delicate realism that the master tried to swat it away before he realized what had happened. So Quentin did a particular thing. So one day he secretly went into the studio of his beloved's father. So he was a painter, so he was drawing a painting at the point of time which was not completed. The painting was half done. So Quentin entered into his room, his studio, and the painting which was doing by his beloved's father, he drew a fly in the panel of the painting. So later on, when the father entered into his studio and tried to complete his painting, suddenly he noticed the fly on the panel of his canvas. So we people had a habit to swat fly-like things. So he thought that particular painting, which was drawn by Quentin, to be a real one, and he tried to swat that particular fly. But when it did not move, then he realized that it was not a real one, it was drawn by someone. So he was a great artist, but still he not able to identify whether the fly was real or it was drawn by someone. So that was enough for him to realize the hidden talent of Quentin, how great painter he could be if he get the right opportunity. Quentin was immediately admitted as an apprentice into his studio. He married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. So then he immediately realized that actually he is blacksmith, but if he get the opportunity, he can be a very good painter. So immediately he appointed Quentin as a helper into his studio, and later on, with the help of his beloved's father, Quentin could establish himself as one of the great painters of that particular period, and he could marry his beloved as well, because his profession was the issue for his father, and since he is no longer a blacksmith, he became a well-known painter. So that was okay with his beloved's father. Now they got married. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve: a perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. So through these two stories, one from Udauji, that's a Chinese story, and one from Quentin Matsis, that's a European story. So through this particular story, we can easily understand what these two particular art forms try to convey through their creation. তেওঁলোকৰ সৃষ্টিৰ যোগেদি এই দুটা আৰ্ট ফৰ্মে আমাক কি দিব বিচাৰে? Chinese যিটো European art form, the Chinese art form, it gives most importance on what? That is inner life, that is soul force, and the European art form, it gives much importance into the illusionistic likeness. That is likeness, mil ba hadisya, which can create confuse on the viewer's eyes. Dekha manujoner chokut jitu bostu confusion create kore je etu real ne artificial. Hetu hoise European artor main uddeshya. They don't want that the viewer should put any thought into the creation. He just wants that the artist should see the painting and try to find out the realistic elements into the creation. সৃষ্টিটো যিমানবিলাক বাস্তৱিক কথা জড়িত হৈ আছে সেইখিনি তেওঁলোকে বুজক, উপলব্ধি কৰক আৰু ৰিয়েলিষ্টিকেলি বস্তুটো তেওঁলোকে ইণ্টাৰপ্ৰিট কৰক। সেইটোৱে তেওঁলোকৰ ইণ্টেনশ্যন। দুইটা আৰ্ট ফৰ্মৰ দুটা পৃথক আইডিয়া আছে। এটাই বিচাৰে কি যে ইনাৰ ফ'ৰ্চটো গুৰুত্ব দিয়ক, চ'ল ফ'ৰ্চটো বুজিবলৈ ট্ৰাই কৰক, আৰু আনটোৱে কোনটোত গুৰুত্ব দিয়ে, বাস্তৱিকতাটোৰ ওপৰত বেছিকৈ গুৰুত্ব দিয়ে, ৰিয়েলিজিমৰ ওপৰত বেছিকৈ গুৰুত্ব দিয়ে। In a Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting and appreciates its outer appearance, but the artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. You can see in the Chinese story that the Tang Emperor Zhuangzong ordered Wu Daoji to draw a painting of a landscape, and when the painting was drawn, now the artist is trying to show him the way inside the painting. That means he tried to reveal to the emperor exact meaning of the painting. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, but only the artist knows the way within. Let me show the way, the Dao, a word that means both the path or the method and the mysterious works of the universe. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached his goal beyond any material appearance. So the emperor may be all in his kingdom. He may know every way inside the kingdom, but the artist's world is another world. He is the ruler of his world. Actually, no one can rule the artist's world. So that is why even the emperor need the guidance of the painter to enter into the creation. So the way Udaoji said, let me show you the way within your majesty. The Maharaj ahok moi apunak battu dekhwai diu. So through that particular thing, Udaoji tried to reveal to the emperor the exact method and the exact way how a person should enter into the creation of a Chinese art. The Chinese শিল্পৰ ভিতৰত সোমোৱাৰ যিটো পদ্ধতি বা যিটো উপায়, সেই উপায়টো তেওঁ দেখুৱাবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰিছিল, যিটো অকল শিল্পীজনেহে জানিব, বাকি মানুহৰ কাৰণে জনাটো কেতিয়াও সম্ভৱ নহয়। A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view as would a Western figurative painting. So, when a Chinese painter draws a painting of a landscape, the things which they include in the painting, the meaning of those things may not be what you can see through your eyes. There may be hundreds and thousands of meaning behind every creation of the Chinese painting. So this depends upon the person and depends upon the viewer what kind of idea he derives from the things which was created by the Chinese painter. Eta bostu তেওঁ আঁকি দিয়ে, এখন ল্যান্ডস্কেপে ধৰি লৈছো, তেওঁ যেতিয়া ড্ৰ কৰে তাত বহুত বস্তু থাকিব, চৰাই থাকিব, পাহাৰ থাকিব, নৈ থাকিব। সেই বস্তুবিলাকক আমি পাহাৰটো পাহাৰ বুলি ভাবিলে নহ'ব, নৈখনক নৈ বুলি ভাবিলে নহ'ব, বা সূৰ্যটো সূৰ্য বুলি ভাবিলে নহ'ব। সেইবিলাকৰ ভিতৰত আৰু বহুত মিনিং সোমাই থাকে, আৰু সেই মিনিংখিনি বুজি লোৱাটোহে চাইনিজ পেইণ্টিঙৰ মূল উদ্দেশ্য। If you not able to understand the meaning which the artist tried to convey to the creation, there is no use of watching Chinese painting. Saya ko laugh nai. But European painting is very much opposite to the Chinese painting. It is figurative painting. Whatever he does, that is the exact meaning of that particular thing. Teo jodi hati eta jodi agise hetu hati ar tata belek kono bostu tat kono ortho kono uliabole dorkar nai. Khali teo hati to kodan ki koribo, he just try to draw the painting of elephant as realistically as possible. Tat kono dhornor inside meaning or kotha tat aru nathake. Whatever he draws, he means that particular thing. There is no hidden meaning in European painting. Whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it from a specific angle, the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. So this is the basic and this is the main contrast between Chinese and European painting. So what is the expectation of a European painter from his viewers. So an European painter hopes that the viewer, whenever he draws something, the viewer should borrow his eyes and see the painting exactly from his point of view. তেওঁ এইটোৱে বিচাৰে যে দৰ্শকজনে শিল্পীজনৰ চকুটোক ধাৰলৈ লওক আৰু শিল্পীজনৰ দৃষ্টিৰে বস্তুটোক তেওঁ চাওক। তাত শিল্পীজনৰ ওপৰত তেওঁ আকৌ নিজৰ কিবা আইডিয়া এটা দিয়াটো তেওঁলোকে কেতিয়াও এক্সপেক্ট নকৰে, সেইটো কেতিয়াও তেওঁলোকে নিবিচাৰে। দে নেভাৰ উইল এক্সপেক্ট ডেট দ্য ভিউৱাৰ শুড পুট এনি thoughts into his creation. Whatever he draws, he should understood it that by that particular thing. Okay, but Chinese painters are quite opposite. তেওঁলোকৰ বস্তুটো কেতিয়া এটা single viewpoint নাথাকে. You can't find a single viewpoint whatever things they draw. মই তোমাক আগতে কৈছিলোঁ যে তেওঁলোকে যিবিলাক বস্তু ছবি এখনৰ ভিতৰত ইনক্লুড কৰে, সেই বস্তুবিলাকৰ এটা অৰ্থ কেতিয়াও নাথাকে। হাজাৰটা অৰ্থ তাত থাকিব পাৰে, সেই হাজাৰটা অৰ্থ কোনে কেনেকৈ উলিয়াই লয় সেইটো ডিপেণ্ড কৰিব ভিউৱাৰজনৰ ওপৰত। সেইকাৰণে চাইনিজ পেইণ্টাৰসকলে কি বিচাৰে that the viewers should put their own thought into their creation and they try to find out their own meaning from it. তোমালোকে নিজে অৰ্থ উলিয়াই লোৱা, তেওঁ মাত্ৰ ছবিখন আঁকি এৰি দিয়ে আৰু তেওঁ বিচাৰে কি যে দৰ্শকসকলে ছবিখনৰ ভিতৰত প্ৰৱেশ কৰক। They should enter into the creation and they should derive their own ideas from the painting. ছবিখনৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকে নিজে নিজে ধাৰণাবিলাক গ্ৰহণ কৰক। His landscape is not a real one and you can enter it from any point, then travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in a leisurely movement. So if he draws a painting of a landscape, it doesn't mean that it's a landscape. দেখাত সেইটো landscape হ'ব পাৰে, okay? But there may be some other meaning into that. So that is why whenever they draw the painting, they allow a viewer to enter into the creation of the Chinese painter. ছবিখনৰ ভিতৰত সোমোৱাৰ ৰাস্তা তেওঁ দি দিয়ে। আৰু তেওঁ এইটোৱে বিচাৰে যে after entering into the painting, the viewer should travel inside the painting. ছবিখনৰ ভিতৰত তেওঁ ঘূৰক, মানে কেনেকৈ ঘূৰিব, তেওঁ নিজৰ থটটো দিয়ক, তাত মনটো তাত দিয়ক আৰু তেওঁ তাৰ পৰা যিকোনো আইডিয়া ল'বলৈ তেওঁ ট্ৰাই কৰক। আৰু এইটো কাৰণে হি মে টেক চাম টাইম, এইটো মানে 10 মিনিট 5 মিনিটত হোৱা কথা নহয়। It may take hours to get an idea of Chinese painting. Whatever time he required, he should take it. তেওঁ সেইটো ল'ব লাগে, but he should not come out of the painting unless and until he got an idea. যেতিয়ালৈকে আইডিয়া এটা নাপায় তেওঁ ছবিখনৰ পৰা কেতিয়াও ওলাই আহিব নালাগে। আৰু সেইটো কেতিয়াও চাইনিজ পেইণ্টাৰ এক্সপেক্ট নকৰে। He never expects such thing from viewers. Okay, and after getting an idea from the painting, he should very relaxed, in a relaxed mood, he could come out and with a particular idea from the creation. This is the expectation of Chinese painter when he draws a painting for the viewers. This is even more true in the case of the horizontal scroll, in which the action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on the other adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. So sometimes it is not possible for a viewer to get an idea from a Chinese painting when the painting is displayed in front of him as a whole. গোটেই ছবিখন যদি সন্মুখত দি দিয়ে, entire ছবিখন, because it's filled with so much ideas, sometimes it becomes impossible for the viewer to have an idea of the painting. Why? Because from where he should stop or where he should start, actually he may get confused. So in that particular situation, a particular strategy was applied by the Chinese painter, that is horizontal scroll. That means they make the painting in a round and they just displayed in a particular section of the painting to the viewer. They did not display the entire painting in front of the viewer. At a particular section they just let a বাকিখিনি fold কৰি ঢাকি থৈ দিয়ে। আৰু সেই যিটো portion দেখুৱাই দিলে, he will not allow the viewer to go to the next section until and unless he get an idea from this particular smaller section. যিটো সৰু সেকশনটা যিটো উলিয়াই দিলে, সেই সেকশনটো পৰা এটা আইডিয়া যেতিয়ালৈকে নাপায়, নেক্সট সেকশনটোলৈ ভিউৱাৰজনক তেওঁ কেতিয়াও যাবলৈ নিদিয়ে। অ'কে, যিমানে দেৰি নালাগক লাগিলে, হোৱাট এভাৰ টাইম হি ৰিকুৱাৰ্ড, ইট মে বি হাফ এন আৱাৰ or even more, but they have to be there. তেওঁ তাত থাকিব লাগিব, চাব লাগিব। And if he could able to get an idea of that particular painting, then he is allowed to move to the other section of the painting. So in that way, in a stepwise, in a very systematic way, in a section wise, the painting is displayed in front of the viewer. So that particular formula, you can say strategy, was applied in case of Chinese painting to give an idea to the viewer. So this particular strategy is applied only in Chinese painting. It also requires the active participation of the viewer, who decides at what pace he will travel through the painting, a participation which is physical as well as mental. So one more thing which is very much required in Chinese painting is that only horizontal scroll will not help the viewer if he did not participate in the painting in a very active way. His participation should be absolutely active to get an idea of Chinese painting. And the participation that is physical as well as mental. Physical means he have to put his eyes behind it, and mental means along with that particular thing he also have to put his thought behind that. And if he give more than 100% into that particular thing, then he could able to get an idea of Chinese painting. Otherwise, it will be no use of looking at a painting for hours. For hours he is observing the painting, but he did not put his eyes as well as his mind behind the painting. That will not help him. The Chinese painter doesn't want you to borrow his eyes. He wants you to enter his mind. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and conceptual space. So that is what the Chinese painter doesn't wish, that the viewer should borrow his eyes and see the painting exactly from his point of view, like European painter. This is what Chinese painter doesn't want. Chinese painter নিবিচাৰে যে European painter বিলাকৰ দৰে দৰ্শকসকলে তেওঁলোকৰ ছবিখন তেওঁৰ দৃষ্টিৰে চাওক. So landscape is a kind of a concept actually. Through that particular landscape, a viewer can have various ideas from a Chinese painting. So in my next video, I will discuss with you about Shanshui, that is a part of Chinese painting. What is Shanshui means, and what does the Chinese Shanshui give the concept of Chinese painting? We will discuss in the next class. Thank you.